This is why long haul never appealed to me, because here you built up thousands of landings, but you didn't necessarily get a phenomenal amount of hours. Whereas you go transatlantic, you sort of get about an 8-hour flight, but all you're doing is monitoring systems, and if you're lucky, you do one landing a day, whereas we would do at least 12 or 14 a day, but we wouldn't go very far, but that didn't matter, because once an aeroplane's in the air, it's easy. Getting it up and getting it down is the only two bits that are difficult. And if it takes you 8 hours between getting it up and getting it down, that's boring. Here, you knew your customers, you could have jokes with your customers. Many, I'm sure, if you interview them, will remember, oh, I remember when, and I remember when this, and I remember when that. And they're perfectly entitled to do so, because that's exactly what we did. You were part of the family of Aurigny. Now I'm afraid it's a clinical division, unfortunately. We have to sort of fit in with what the big ones do, even if it doesn't suit what the little ones do. Uniformity.
You can't really have one rule for the Channel Islands and one rule for the rest. I think it is a shame. I love the idea. I mean, there are a few stories that I've heard that I'm afraid I shan't repeat on camera. I think it's very difficult. That in 2012, the European Aviation Safety Agency announced a new regime of rules which was going to include a requirement for trilander pilots to carry an ice pick in the aircraft in case they crashed on a sort of polar ice cap or whatever. And there was similar, if you look up and you look at the ceiling when you're taking a flight in a trilander, you'll see little lights which are supposed to help guide you to your emergency exit. Now, anyone who's ever flown in a trilander would know that you're not very far from an emergency exit, because it's either to your left or it's to your right. You're never very far from a door. But the rule was made by EASA to fit all their operators. So the trouble with devolving responsibility for aviation regulation to Europe, which is what Britain has chosen to do, is that the rule making becomes more remote from the situations to which the rules are supposed to apply. I think there are good reasons for doing it. You bring down costs, you standardise rules for all operators, you allow a closer integration with a single market, but frankly, from Albany's perspective, they're incredibly remote reasons. And it's a shame in a way, but the prospect of any other alternative is very limited. I see it as inevitable.